Thanks, Tony. One of my favourite movies when I was a kid was the Highlander movie and the famous line, "and then there was one." Sort of know what he meant. Thank you to everyone for giving us the grace of, what are we up to, 17 days of trying to work out a wicked dilemma for Australia. And like Tony, I would also like to very much thank the good faith and good nature of the negotiations that have taken place between Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott and Tony Windsor, myself and Bob Katter. They would both be good Prime Ministers. There is no question about that. And if anything, that has made this decision all the more difficult for me, and I think on behalf of both of us and for Bob as well, a more difficult decision. They both, in this parliament where it will be a different parliament, will contribute fantastic things for this country, and I hope whichever way this ends up going, that they renew their friendship, they talk and they do work together as much as possible in the national interest. It does matter. Also, can I say some thanks for some other people who've been involved. Bob Brown, Nick Xenophon and various senators have been involved. New colleagues in the lower house, Andrew Wilkie, Adam Bandt and Tony Crook. This will be a different parliament. They all have contributed in various ways, and even some long-term members and senators. I'd even thank Bill Heffernan today. He is a good man fundamentally, and and
you know, supporting that.
And again, that's what makes the journey of the last 17 days tricky, and the decision we've had to make difficult. I wanted to start by saying what this decision is not. I want to be very clear and upfront that this is not a mandate for any government. We should have a great big swear jar in this building for the next 3 years, and that if anyone uses that word mandate, they should have to chip in some money. This parliament is going to be different. No one party has dominance over the executive or the parliament. That is a reality of the way we're going to do business for the next 3 years, and that is a good reality. So it is not a mandate for anyone, nor is it an endorsement of anyone, of any philosophy, of any brand, of any campaign. In fact, in the discussions we've had over the last couple of weeks, I think I can speak on behalf of the three of us, now two of us, that we have generally come to a pretty similar conclusion that I suspect plenty of people who went into the ballot box on the August 21st had, and that was being thoroughly unimpressed with the state of play of major party politics in Australia today. We are no different in that, and again, that has made this a difficult decision to make. I also emphasise that we are all proud and strong independents. In fact, that's why there's all this interest in us. We do value our vote in the parliament, and our communities recognise that, and we will commit to maintaining as much as possible full voting rights on all issues before the parliament. That is important to us and the way we represent our community and represent our country through the parliament. One of the exciting things from the reform package that went through yesterday emphasised the new voting rights on private members' bills. We're going to have a wow of a time. We're going to see absolutely everything on anything come before this parliament, and that is exactly the way it should be. And I would hope over the next 3 years, regardless of this juicy and sexy decision everyone's waiting on, that there is this recommitment to the 150 members of parliament, the role that they play, the importance as the foundation blocks of our democracy, and all the support we can give to people if at times they need to break ranks from their political parties to achieve what they believe is in their communities or their country's best interests. That's what's going on at the moment, these divided loyalties between political party, between local electorate responsibilities and responsibilities to the nation. I would hope, from what you've seen from us from the last 17 days, we're committed to electorate and committed to country. We do culturally need to bring a few others with us. That includes a few media outlets with us. so that we do be very strong in establishing the principles of electorate and country as the drivers of the way we do business in regards public policy. So what this is a hard decision. There is no question about that. And at my end, it has been an absolute line ball, points decision, judgment call, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. This could not get any closer. In fact, I think what you've seen this afternoon, where we've dropped one of the three amigos, is exemplifies just how tight this election has been and how tight this decision is for the country. I've got splits in my community. I've even got splits in my own family. My 4-year-old and 6-year-old are split on this decision. I've got family. I'm quite open. I don't know those everyone knows. I've got a family member who ran as the Liberal candidate for Eden Monaro. I've got another family member who worked for Lionel Murphy. You know, this is going to be brought up at many Christmases to come in my household, and will be difficult. So, and I do look. That's not indulgence. I mention that for a reason. Communities are split on this, and when the gong is given at the end of these words, there's a job to do, and a first job to do for a new Prime Minister, and to some degree an opposition leader, and that is to bring Australia together. It has been 17 days where there's been massive interest in this creeping number count. It has engaged the Australian community. I have heard discussions from people in shops that I never thought would show any interest in politics whatsoever. Australia is engaged, but Australia is also divided. And so I would plead that the first job is to not have a unity government, but if we can have a country that as much as possible unifies on the back of this decision, then that is a good first job done. The framing of this decision then is an important point that I want to make as to how I drew my conclusions. My job description is to represent my electorate and represent my country through the Parliament. It is in those two best interests that I work. This 2.5 week period has really asked me to drill down on my own comments in regards to what I mean by this best interest test. That has required a lot of thought. It is not shaped around this political party prism that I continue to see some media outlets report. It is something a lot deeper than that, and it is back to those words, I think, around stability and outcomes. That is the best interest test of this decision. In regards to stability, we can drill down on, in my view, 4 key areas. The raw numbers on the floor of the House, that has crept, and it looks like regardless which way we go, it'll be negated. So I don't even need to raise that point because it's either going to be 75-75 or 76-74. So, but that was part of the decision-making process. The Senate is also, and we've been quite public about this, the role of the Senate, the relationship with the Senate has been an important consideration in regards to stability. The point that Ted Mack has been making publicly has been, I think, a fair point and one to consider. And in regards to stability, which party has more to gain in working with us and working with the crossbenchers as compared to which party will try and knife us and go to the early polls? And that is the 4th point, which I think is the important point. And Tony did make mention of it. Which of the parties will try and keep this Parliament running for as long as possible? If we are talking about stability, that has been a key consideration at my end as to how we can do our bit for the Australian people and keep this Parliament alive for as close to 3 years as possible. So that's the stability thinking. Then we get on to the outcomes thinking.